The Labour Party's list for this forthcoming general election. This election is fundamentally about who best has New Zealanders' backs in tough times. We're bolstering an experienced caucus with fresh new talent to focus on the bread and butter issues that matter the most to New Zealanders. New Zealand has some incredible opportunities in front of us. The rate of inflation is coming down and we have record low unemployment. We have a positive plan for the future, cutting inflation, bringing down the cost of living, keeping people and communities safe, and investing in education, health and housing. This year's party list reflects the enormous talent within our existing caucus, as well as the diversity of New Zealanders from right around the country. It shows again that the Labour Party is a party for all New Zealanders. We've ranked our existing cabinet, whips and office holders broadly in their current caucus ranking order, with Speaker Adrian Rurafe being slotted in at number 11, the same as Trevor Mallard was last time, and Willow Jean Prime moving to number 9 and Joe Luxon moving to number 19 following the departure of Kitty Allen. We've boosted our wider team with new talent from a range of different backgrounds, including small business owners, lawyers, a senior diplomat, local government leaders and experts and leaders in Te Ao Māori. With the right leadership and the right team, we can make it easier for Kiwi families to get ahead and make sure that everybody in New Zealand has the opportunity to fulfil their full potential. With such a large and talented existing caucus, and so many strong new candidates, this was an incredibly challenging list to put together. We've got an abundance of talented people and more great people wanting to put their hands up than we had spots on our list for. With our strengthened team, Labour will be running a positive, future-focused campaign that will give New Zealanders a positive and hopeful choice in this coming election. New Zealanders can be confident that this is a Labour team that is on their side and in it for you. I'll hand over to the party president and then we'll open up for questions.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Kia ora everyone. Thank you so much for coming along today. I just want to acknowledge how immensely difficult a job it has been to put this list together. With such a large, talented existing caucus and so many strong new candidates, we have an abundance of talented people and more great people, as the Prime Minister said, than we had spots to rank. I want to acknowledge my colleagues from our New Zealand Council and the caucus who worked very constructively to put this list together. We're very excited about where we've landed and the team that we are putting together. It's a team that reflects the diversity of modern New Zealand. It's a team that has the right mix of skills to seize the opportunities in front of our country. We're very confident this is a team that can win election 2023. And it's a team New Zealanders can have confidence in. A team that's on your side and in it for you. Kia ora. Over to you for questions.
Very good. Happy to open up for questions.
I think some assumptions here, you're going to lose a number of your sitting MPs. Because they're ranked too far down the list, the likes of Liz Craig, Angie Warren-Clark, Rachel Boyack. Are they okay with that? That
would be an incorrect assumption. We're in this to win it. We're going to be significantly increasing our share of the party vote to what you're seeing based on current polls. Our campaign's only just warming up.
How many MPs do you think you're going to get in?
Look, we've gone through a range of different scenarios. We do that as part of the list ranking process. But our goal is to get as many votes as possible so we get as many people in Parliament as possible.
How many MPs do you think you're going to have after the election?
Heaps.
Can you talk about those different scenarios that you've been running? What are you thinking?
Oh, look, we go through and we check to make sure that we're still reflecting the diversity of New Zealand and that we're putting forward a representative list at any different vote outcome. But I think we're going to do very well in this coming election.
Which MPs are you most worried about?
I'm not going to get into that sort of speculation. I think we're going to do well in the election.
You've ranked Phil Twyford at 49. He was number 4 last time. What happened?
Phil has, he's no longer a minister. He's still ranked within the caucus. So I think his ranking just reflects the fact that he's no longer a minister.
Do you want him to go?
No.
Prime Minister, the top 10 are all cabinet ministers. Are you confident you have the balance right between having experience and also bringing in a new generation of Labour?
If you look at the intakes that we had in 2017 and 2020, we had an enormously talented group of people joining our lineup in the last two elections. We've got the opportunity to bring some more new people in this forthcoming election, and I think that we will do that. But of course, we have to recognise that actually we've got a lot of really talented people already.
Current polling says you might get 1, 2, 3 tops of new people in.
I think we're going to do significantly better than that.
Doesn't that reflect that you don't want to refresh your talent?
No,
Georgie Danzy, Tony Boynton, and George Hampton might come in.
I think we're going to do significantly better than that.
We've
How?
got some seats too.
And we've also got some electorate seats that aren't on the list, of course, as well. But look, ultimately, I think we're going to do better. I think our campaign is just starting to pick up momentum.
What's Georgie Danzy done to be ranked ahead of the likes of Angie Warren-Clark or Liz Craig?
As I've indicated, there's a variety of different factors we take into account when we rank the party list. It's not just all the individual, it's also things like geography and diversity and making sure that we're reflective of the New Zealand population. And so that all comes into play as well. I think Georgie is an incredibly strong candidate and will be a very, very useful addition to our team. She's a small business owner. She's got an education background as well. I think that she will add a lot to our team.
Is it a thank you for the hospital pass that you gave her running in the Hamilton West by-election?
Well, we do consider people's history of candidacy when we make decisions about where they end up on the list. That's absolutely true. I think Georgie flew the flag for us very proudly and very positively in the by-election.
Can you give us an indication of the gender balance across the whole 76?
I'm confident that we will have a more or less a gender balance regardless of where the party vote lands up. Maybe slightly in favour of having more women than men, but then that's a reflection of the lineup that we have at the moment.
What does Tony Boynton and Parewhati Taikato bring to the table?
If you think about Tony Boynton, for example, whose background I'm more familiar with, she's got a very strong background in advocating for Māori, strong local government background, so real involvement in sort of the activism at that local government level, which I think will be a real addition. I think we've got really strong Māori candidates coming forward in this list.
And Tāmati Coffee's announced his running for Te Rāwhiti East Coast. How confident are you in Tāmati?
Tāmati is an incredibly strong candidate, and I'm really pleased for the people of the East Coast that they have the option of voting for someone who is a proven, experienced Member of Parliament who can go into bat for them on day one. In fact, I know that he's doing that already. So I'm really pleased that Tāmati has decided that he wants to give this another go. He is incredibly talented. He's got a lot of energy. I fully understand when he reflected on this over the Christmas break, as all of us who have young families will do from time to time, there was a certain pull away from Parliament rather than a push away from Parliament. He's spoken to his family. He's now absolutely in this to win it. And he's got my full backing to do that.
He was the only Labour MP to lose his seat in a massive red wave. How do you have confidence that he's going to win East Coast?
Oh, I think Tāmati's going to run a great campaign. I'm absolutely confident that he'll win.
Can you see, though, that I guess some in the East Coast might look at it as they've now got an MP running for them who didn't want to be in Parliament anymore, who decided that the tank was actually empty and they wanted to get out?
I can tell you, having had a number of conversations with Tāmati in the last week or so, the tank is certainly not empty. He's running on all cylinders.
But East Coast voters don't have the ability to have a one-on-one with him. The optics of it is that Tāmati wanted out of Parliament.
He will run a very energetic campaign, and the East Coast voters are going to have the opportunity to see that. Yes.
On the list. She hasn't appeared yet?
Because she's a relatively late nominee, she hasn't nominated for the list, so she's running for Ikaroa Rāwhiti only. I think she's going to win that seat.
But what does that say to our whānau down in Te Rāwhiti? If they don't see her, they don't understand that process, and this is sending a message to them?
It simply reflects the fact that the nominations for the list had already closed when she put her name forward for the Ikaroa Rāwhiti seat.
Will you then be running a kind of a style of campaign down there as a 2-for-1, that you might get both Mecca and Kushla if she comes in the electorate? We're
absolutely aiming to win the seat, and of course we're aiming to increase our party vote up and down the country. So Labour will absolutely be running a campaign relentlessly focused on the party vote.
You've
moved Joe Luxton and Willow Jean Pine up as a result of Kitty Allen leaving, was it important to you to maintain the Māori representation that you've already had, or were you having sort of the likes of, Deborah Russell, Rachel Brooking, etc., sort of saying, hey, what about us?
No, it's a sign that with Kitty Allen not being on the list and Nai Mahuta also not being on the list, I think it's important that we make sure that the list continues to reflect the New Zealand population.
So it was specifically you really wanted to maintain that Māori representation?
Well, and I don't want to take anything away from either of them as well. They are but Willow and Joe are both making an enormous contribution to our government. They're absolutely worthy of the elevation.
With Tamati, what was the situation there? Did you approach him, or was it the other way around? How did that work?
Jill might want to answer that because I know that she's been involved in more of those conversations earlier on than I was.
So Tamati did reach out to us early on and said that he was interested. As you can understand, East Coast Electorate actually overlaps a lot of Waiariki. So for him, it was a community that he knows well. And obviously he had, made a decision earlier in the year. But I think for him, things had changed when you have a little baby in the house, as the Prime Minister said. Sometimes you can think maybe you don't have the capacity to do that. But I think for him, he has seen that his family is in a space where he can do that. And that was his focus. But he reached out to us because he had made that decision and we worked with him.
That's the complete opposite of what he told Morning Report this morning. He got asked that question and he said that colleagues had approached him. So which one is it?
Well, it's possible that colleagues within the party did, but it wasn't from us. It wasn't from us as leaders. He approached us, but it's possible that his peers said to him, you should consider this. And we absolutely support people doing that. And I know that in the community there were people that talked to him as well. So I think both facts are true.
Did you have anyone else approaching you?
To join in there? No one from the party. So yes.
Other people did?
There was a bit of interest and, we expect that because it's a great seat, so yes.
When exactly did Tamati get in touch with you or someone about contesting that seat?
Very early on, he'd had conversations with other people. No, not that early. It was much later in the week.
Was he basically dancing on a political grave, getting in touch with you?
No, it wasn't that early.
Anna Lork didn't nominate on the list last election, ran electorate only. Does her inclusion on the list tell a tale about how confident you are in that seat?
No, absolutely not. I actually have been on the ground quite a bit in her electorate since the cyclone. I can tell you that she is a very popular local member of Parliament. She's respected for the work that she's doing in the community, and I think she will hold the seat.
Anyone that you don't think is going to hold the seat?
Look, I'm very optimistic. I know that our team on the ground have been running, they're going to run really energetic campaigns, but they've also been doing the hard yards.
Have either of you had to have any tough discussions yesterday with perhaps disappointed MPs?
I think everybody would like to be, in the top 20 on the party list. There's no question about that. But the reality is we've got a very large caucus, and so we need to make, somewhere along the way you have to do a ranking because that's the way the democratic system that we have works.
But specifically, did you have some tough conversations yesterday?
As I've said, a lot of people would like to be higher. That's good. It just means that they really enjoy their jobs.
Was one of those people Michael Wood, who's been pushed down to 45 on the list? And are you sending him a signal? I mean, should he give up contesting Mount Roskill?
I think he's absolutely going to win Mount Roskill.
Can you just explain who exactly put this list together, and then once you've made the list, did you individually call everyone, or can you just explain all of that?
So the list is put together by the New Zealand Council of the Labour Party alongside 3 representatives from the caucus, so myself, the Deputy Leader, Kelvin Davis, and in this case the third is the Deputy Prime Minister at the moment, Carmel Sepuloni. The list process draws on a very democratic process that occurs within the party, where regions rank their lists within each of the 6 regions that we have, dividing the country up. We then draw on that as we knit the list together.
So you had 6 different versions of the list come through to you, and then you...
It's the candidates from each region, basically, they go through a process within their region.
How much does this list marry with what came through to you from those 6 regions?
Well, we generally don't go into providing a detailed commentary on that, but of course we take that into account in the putting together of the list.
And then once you created the list, what did you have individual conversations with 76 people, or would you?
I didn't speak to every single one of them. I spoke to several, and Jill's spoken to several, but we divided the list up amongst people so that they all got phone calls yesterday.
Who did you speak to? Was it you were concerned?
I'm not going to go into that. No, I'm not going to go into who spoke to whom, but I'm absolutely confident, based on the feedback that I've had, that everybody knows where their list position is and that everybody is going to be focused on securing a win in the forthcoming election.
Did you speak to sitting MPs?
Was that?
Did you speak to sitting MPs?
I spoke to a few of them, yeah.
Sarah Pallett's not likely to get back in, is she?
I actually think that she's done an amazing job in Ireland, and I think she may well win the seat. Having said that, I'm confident that our party vote is going to exceed expectations.
That was an extraordinary result for her to win Ireland last time around. Do you really think she's going to win that seat?
Well, you just wait and see.
Well, just back on Michael Wood, he's dropped 22 spots. How can that be seen as anything other than a message that he's not welcome?
I think Michael's not currently a minister, and so his ranking on the list reflects that.
Well, he wasn't a minister last time around.
He was an office holder within the party, so he was a party whip last time around.
It also partly reflects his actions, though, his misjudgment, and that he's a talented person, as we all noted when this all happened. Is his position a reflection of his misjudgments in the Shears area?
I'm absolutely confident that Michael's going to run a strong campaign in Mount Roskill. I think he's going to get the support of the voters of Mount Roskill. He's still working through those issues around his shares. There's still a little bit of water to flow under the bridge there for him, and I'm confident that he will manage that appropriately.
Is it a reflection, yes or no, of his actions?
If you look where he's ranked, broadly speaking, consistently with other members of the caucus who are not ministers.
What's he still managing with his shares?
What's that?
What's he still managing?
Well, there's a parliamentary privileges issue to work through.
What do you say to the very strong South Auckland voting bloc to see Māngere, Lemonga, so far down the list, Arena and Manurewa? Should they not be as a strong supportive voting bloc to Labour further up that list?
We are absolutely confident that they are going to win both of those seats and that they're going to be very important members of our team next time around. And so they're both relatively new members of our team, and we do take that into account in the way that we've done the list rankings. But I am absolutely confident that that those seats will rock solid, be electing both of them as their members of Parliament.
Beyond a couple of examples in the press release, was there any other reshuffling after Kerry Allen's resignation?
No.
And, I mean, how much of a spanner did that resignation throw into assembling this list?
Not a lot, but obviously, we're very disappointed that things came to that point with Kitty.
Did you take into
Last question from Joe.
Like regional spread as well? Have you been quite specific about having a couple of people from each region in this list in the flyer?
Yeah, we want to make sure that the list that we're putting forward to New Zealanders actually reflects the New Zealand population. That includes geography, gender, ethnicity, a whole range of factors.
Is that the ultimate priority when developing the list for Labour?
Well, and talent, and there is plenty of it.
So you'd say there'd be equal priorities as far as when you're developing it, you're thinking...
Absolutely, talent and experience are absolutely incredibly important in putting a list together.
Are you able to stand there and categorically say that Steph Lewis, Sarah Pallett and Liz Craig are going to be MPs again?
Well, we're going to be campaigning to win a very large share of the party vote so that all of our team are back. Thanks, everyone.